the production planner.
I'm Omar Zaid. I'm the assistant production manager.
All right, cool. Now that everyone's here, we can get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my spreadsheet. Just give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up right now. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So let's just get started with Taj Mahal here. So as we know, as you can see through the forecast, um, Taj Mahal has a pretty steady demand throughout the entire year. It doesn't change very much. So I didn't really see any means in changing the price monthly. I just kept it at 1750 and it seemed to work out pretty well. The only thing I changed for Taj Mahal is the production. So I kept it or actually I dropped the production down from 4,000, I believe, to 2,000 um, in January through March. And then in April, I bumped it up to 6,000. And this helped prevent some lost sales that we were having, and it also helped bring down our ending inventory, which was significantly higher than it is now. Then I dropped it down to 2,000 again in the coming months after, and then in July, as you can see, I brought it back up to 4,000, and then I brought it back down to 3,500 for the next few months. And then in October, that's where I really bumped it up to 6,000. And that's when um, I decided to bring it back down to 3,000 in November. And then I brought it back down to 2,500 in December. And that was really just to get rid of lost sales. I know it kind of seems like a weird production schedule, but I found it was the most efficient way to eliminate lost sales, um, while helping obtain the best EBT possible. So yeah, that was my reasoning for that. Now, Alley Cat, that's where things get more significant. So as we know, the base price for Alley Cat was 1550. Um, and I kept that normal for the first few months because Alley Cat doesn't do too well in the colder months, January, February, March. But starting in April, as you can see in the forecast, that's where sales really start to bump up a notch. So I figured that by increasing the price of Alley Cat to $17, obviously there is a slight change in demand, but at the same time, the money that we are accumulating from that change, I think, is greater than the change in demand, or has a greater effect than the change in demand. So for the warmer months, I kept it at 17, and then I brought it back down to 1550 starting in September, where, as you can see, the demand starts to shift down again. I brought it back down. As far as the production goes, um, production. I want to keep higher for Alley Cat since it is definitely um, our top seller. Um, as you can see in January and February, I kept production around 3,000, March 4,000, April 5,000, and then May and June, which are, the big hitters. I wanted to increase production as much as possible, so I have 6,000, 8,000 CS for that. Um, and then July and August also kept it pretty high. And then when it starts getting colder out, that's when I started to drop it down a bit. Um, and to finish off with Edgar Ale, Edgar Ale, I kept the price at 1450. I found that that was the most effective. Um, as you can see, no lost sales for Edgar Ale, so that is good. Um, And if we look at the EBT analysis, we can see that I obtained an EBT of $212,261, which is over the 210K requirement. Eli, I'm gonna hand it off to you now. Just give me a second to stop sharing.
No worries. All right. Let me know when y'all can see the screen here.
Yeah, you're good to go.
All good? All right. So when I started off here, I wanted to look at the sales and get all my production orders in line. So for Taj Mahal, I just dropped it down to I just dropped it down 1,000 or from 4,000 to 3,000 for the first 6 months, and then increasing it exponentially until December. Um, that decrease, that 1,000 production order decrease actually freed up a lot of room for Alley Cat, which is our main product, our big money maker. So that was my the first step that I took. And then secondly, I went down there into Alley Cat and I increased the production orders to by 2,000, and then slightly decreasing all the way down until the later December month. But I did this so we could build up more production so that we'd have enough for our April through August surge of sales. Um, but we did end up it's inevitable. We always lose sales with Alley Cat just because it's so popular. So that's when I went ahead and increased the price from 15.50 to $17 um, from April through July, and then upping it another 50 cents to 17.50 in August. Um, and this event or ultimately got rid of all our lost sales because decreasing the demand by increasing the price um, freed up some space. I mean, obviously we're gonna lose sales, but I think the money we're gonna make from that from not losing sales and that increased price is ultimately better for the company. And then down here at Edgar Ale, I didn't change anything except for the only thing I really changed was these last two, November and December. But I did do that for all three. I dropped the price by 50 cents for November and December in each product um, because sales are going down. Um, and it actually I did a little trial and error, and it did up our EBT by like 4,000, I say. So we ended up with 212,188 EBT, which again is above the 210,000 requirement. Omar, I'll hand it off to you.
Okay. Let me know when you guys see my screen. Are you guys able to see it?
No, we still don't see it yet.
Omar, if you want, I can share my screen and you can just explain like what you did. Will that work?
Yeah, I mean, I have it pulled up right here, so I could see mine. I mean, that would work.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you can just read off of yours and then they can kind of.
All right. All right. If you want to pull up Taj Mahal first, thank you. Okay. So for Taj Mahal, started around with on here. I have, okay. So Taj Mahal, the I had zero change in demand for the whole time around. My production, it was somewhat steady, but it dropped around May to August time, and that's usually what happened. Didn't change the price at all. Kept it the same the whole year round. Um, Elasticity was 4.4. Basically, it was the one that was most steady all year round. I'd say to that. If you want to show Alley Cat. So Alley Cat, I did have a change in demand, and that was from April to August. That lets me change in the price by $1. Um, it varied from 1 to 150. Uh, up in the price during that time. Production did increase during those around those same months too as well. Going from around 2,400, exactly 2,480 from March to almost doubling it. Well, doubling it to 4,960. And then from there, it just kept rising until August. Uh, and then if you want to show Edgar Ale. All right. So for Edgar Ale, I had a change in demand during the months of June, July, and August, and this has also led to change in production, which was lowered. It lowered from starting in April to the end of August, around the same time, but started earlier than the change in demand. That led to a change in price from June to August, about 250 to 225, higher than the usual price. And then so that was the lowest sold. And then the heaviest time, like the heaviest seasons were from November to May. So it was end of winter to the beginning of summer, all throughout spring. Um, Most of summer was the weakest. That's where it led to the change in demand. If you guys ready.
All
All
right,
right.
so the plan I think we should definitely use for this upcoming simulation is Eli's. I think we had about the same, um, or roughly the same EBT. Mine might have been a little bit higher, but your production schedule was definitely way easier to manage, I would say, and or it will be way easier to manage when we do the simulation. So I think we should definitely shoot for yours. Um, yeah. We also have to keep in mind that since we have to fluctuate the pricing now, we have a lot more to manage in this upcoming simulation. So I think we should definitely take that into account. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, very agreed. I think that seasonality in the last one was a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think that we're focusing on that pricing is going to be a lot more it's going to make things a lot harder, but ultimately better EBT for the company. So,
Yeah.
do you guys want to fill out a little bit of that sheet and then, sorry, do we want to schedule a couple production orders just so we're ready to go for the upcoming simulation?
Yeah. Yeah, we should. Why don't we put in the first 8?
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Sounds good.
Let me know when y'all can see it. All right, so for the first 8, I generally just kept it the same as we did last time. 2 Alley Cat, 1 Taj, 1 Edgar for the first 2 months. Does that sound like a plan for everyone?
Sounds good.
Alrighty, and then we'll keep the price the same. If anything changes, we can always change that. But I'm gonna go into Scrimmage Sim, and I actually did go ahead and create those production orders before we started. With the 2 Alley Cat, 1 Taj, 1 Edgar for the first month. So I think we are all good to go.
All right.
Anybody got anything else to add?
No, I think that about wraps up everything. Yeah, unless somebody else has something to add, I think I'm good.
I agree with everything, all the plan we got going on.
All right, cool.
Sounds good. Thanks for meeting, y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So let me stop the recording.